Well, hey there, folks. Like you all saw in a previous video I just did, we got the engine out of the CJ5, working on the F-134 Hurricane. I actually literally just pulled the flywheel off, take off the bell housing plate, and noticed the back of the engine is completely full of mouse nest. I already took a handful out. And you can see, look at all that just nastiness. Just 70 years of gunk and grime and massive oil leaks. So that's probably gonna be step one, is try to get some of this stuff scraped off. Do a primary clean. I actually found the timing pointer. I didn't know it had that. It was completely gone. Or completely covered with stuff I didn't know was there. Good bit of stuff cleaned off engine. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. Got a big pile of gunk off. So now I'm gonna start working on getting the transmission cleaned up, doing the same thing. That's better. That's better. Look at that. That is just nasty. Yep, the Jeep's gonna be like 20 pounds lighter now. Alright, people, we got the Hurricane on a rotisserie engine stand. So I'm gonna start dismantling this. I'm gonna start out just taking, like, I got all these hard lines and basically work towards getting the head off. I'm not gonna do anything on the bottom end just yet. You want to make sure you mark what cylinder each part comes from. So, I mean, this is really easy. I only have 4 push rods, so I'm just doing cylinder 1, and then I'll take out cylinder 2 and mark it cylinder 2. And you want to keep all the wear patterns together when you put it back together. So we got all the other little stuff off, and now it's time to get this head removed. Take this head off. First time since who knows when. Ooh, nice. Oh, baby. Oh yeah. We have some not ideal situations here. So, just a quick initial inspection. Most things don't look too bad. Cylinder 1, we got hint ring wash right there. Cylinder 2 looks like it's had quite a bit of ring wash. Cylinder 3 doesn't look too bad, just some carbon buildup everywhere. Deck surface doesn't appear to have ever been resurfaced. Maybe if it was slightly, there's still factory stampings on there. Number 3 exhaust valve is different than all the rest. Cylinder 2 looks like we had quite a bit more lean there, and you probably can't tell, but there is a crack, actually 2 cracks in that valve. Cylinder 4 was definitely much richer than the other ones. You can see how much blacker that exhaust valve is. Big idiocracy, cylinder 4. See that right there? Ain't supposed to be like that. When you look into the top of their piston and you see the top ring, the compression ring, then you go over there and there's another small hole around the edge, and there's a bunch of cracks going through it, and there's even a chunk of aluminum embedded onto the top of the piston. That is not ideal. Not ideal. That kind of sucks. So, the cylinders, the bores actually don't look bad. And there's some scratching. There's a bit of a ridge on top, but it's really not bad. So it's just that piston. Got a vintage Felpro head gasket. It's all mangled because I had to pry this thing off the head. It was stuck on there. You can see between cylinders 2 and 3, looks like they were sharing some exhaust gases. It's kind of scorched there. Actual head doesn't look too bad. If it wasn't for that number 4 piston, man, we'd be in pretty good shape, but that piston sucks. So got the bottom end here, got the oil pan, timing cover off, and already checked the crankshaft end play, so I didn't film that, but what you do is put a dial indicator, I did on the back of the crank here, mount it onto the block, and then screwdriver or pry bar, pry the crank to one end, zero it, and then pry the crank to the other end and see what the measurement is. So I did that, it's like 8 thousandths. I'm not actually sure the spec on these, but I feel like I think the spec is like 6 thousandths, so that's pretty close. So now I'm checking the connecting rod side play. If you guys can see that, you can move the rod front to back. So I want to pull it to one side and shove a feeler gauge in between the gap between the rod and the crank. I believe my manual says that spec is between 4 and 10 thousandths, I think. So 9 thousandths was too tight. 8 thousandths maybe slightly loose, but the 9 thousandths is really tight. So that's about 8 thousandths, so that's good on the number 3 rod. So I continue that throughout the rest. No, I got the timing cover off, and there are markings on the gears on where they line up. I found those markings and put some paint marker on there just to help highlight that. You're going to pop off the number 4 rod. Gotta get rid of these jam nuts first. There they go. There she pops. before I take these main caps out, I took the rear main cap is pretty self-explanatory. It's different, it's funky. But the intermediate and the front require special attention. So I took a hole punch and did on this side of the cap, since it's the second bearing, did 2 punches with a hole punch, and then on that side of the block, did 2 punches with a hole punch, and then the front cap, I did 1 punch and 1 punch. Popping off the intermediate main cap. Oh yeah. Not too shabby. Alright, so we took the intermediate main cap off and then placed a dial indicator on the side of the block and then put it onto the main journal. Spun the crank over and it was good. So now I'm going to I'll replace the intermediate cap, take off the front cap, do the same thing, and then replace the front cap, take the back one off, and then basically see if the crank is bent or out of whack somehow. So that's what we are doing right now.
There's about, what, 2.5, almost 3.
Yeah.
Coming back up to 0.
That's out a little bit.
It's out. Yeah, I'd say 2.5.
Spec's 2, so.
The spec is 2.
Yeah. Crank and rotating assembly is out. Main bearings, for the most part, look okay. The rear one does have a pretty big groove in it. Rear main seal is actually a neoprene seal, so not sure if that's factory or not. I know sometime in the late 50s Willys started doing neoprene, but you can see it's just deteriorating. And check out that valve. Yep, those guides are toast. There's an array of parts. Got the crank, there's the camshaft out. It came out just fine with the leaving the gear in place. And I didn't want to risk breaking this gear trying to get it off, so just you can get through these holes to the cam retainer bolts. Where is the piston? Right here. Check that out. Rings got busted and then double stacked. That's crazy. And then started to widen out the piston right there. Definitely some nasty stuff going on. And then there's the pile of rings that came out. All just shattered. So, yep. And then there's the main busted out piston. One side, other side. Yep, it's done. This side is actually down to the second ring. So, yep. Done. There is a bare Hurricane block. Oh yeah. I got the freeze plugs pulled out. Got all the plugs. Well, not all of them. I still have a couple plugs in the oil gallery. But that's pretty good. Camshaft and lifters and valves are out. Over here, two of the manifold studs there and there broke off. I tried welding a nut onto there. That didn't work. So then ended up just drilling it out. I got it perfectly centered, so I was able to drill out and retap to the factory size. And I got some very nice threads. Perfect. So, we'll get this thing turned over. And there's from the underside. So, time to take this thing off to machining. Don't know when y'all will see it again. But that's a Hurricane. I ain't got no Hurricane anymore. So, got the engine dropped off at Machinist today. So, I have no idea when y'all are going to see it again. But, hopefully we can get that done pretty quickly and then start reassembling. So, thank you guys for watching this Hurricane teardown video. And I'll see y'all next time. Keep on trucking.